Alright everybody, welcome back. Here we are to just simply work on the project again. The last time we had few bugs and it was hard to just simply debug that, and right now we are gonna be working on that again, and hopefully we'll be able to debug it and fix the things. Okay, going ahead, this is how the things looked like, and the next thing that we actually gonna focus on, that is which one? This get this particular thing is definitely running, and as this is running, so I wanna check exactly what I'm getting in here. So let's check that thing first of all. So CLG and this whole thing, I would rather wrap it inside an object, sort of like this, and this is just my way to differentiate that. But well, that's really wrong way if there is so. Now this is better. So if I select that, and now when I hover it, so at that time I'm getting almost everything. Now it's time to select more shapes, and now when I hover over these, still I get the bounds, the points, and the shape as well. What is the next thing? As I'm getting this, so definitely this particular section is not gonna run, or will this run? The shape that I'm sending, okay, just a sec. That's fine, and because I will have the bounds in both the cases, and if the type is gonna be equals to this, then this particular thing is going to be called, otherwise this particular thing is going to be called. The only thing is that which thing is getting called. Let's talk about this corner in here. Corner is null, so this is problematic. So if corner is null, running, so at the end of the day I'm getting corner as the null value even if I have the bounds. So I'll pass the bounds scale in here once it actually reaches this part. So we have to we have handle size at by scale, we have this, we have the bounds, so half handle, top left, top right, and all these things. CLG, we have edge inside and we are returning the corner type. So edge inside is not really being called, that simply means edge inside is inside is false. So if I'm actually passing these values as the bounds, and they are quite big ones, and when I hover, let's talk about the point. So I'm definitely getting the point as well, right? So I'd like to see what the point is. Point is 952 466. So x is 952, that is less than 957. Y is 46. Max x is 947 57. Max y is 773. So minimum x, minimum y, we have this, maximum we have this, and if the point is actually 660, so minimum max 660 is between 258 and 957. Y 513 is greater than 198, is less than 773. So this should be fine. So the logic is pointer inside rect, is a point inside rectangular. I pass the point, I pass corner x, corner y, and half handle. Why is this? We pass point, we pass x, y, and width and height. Okay. When it comes to corners, these are the corners we have: min x, min y, max x, max x, min y, min x, max y, max x, max y. We have these corners. Once we have these corners, so using these corners, what am I gonna do? First of all, I am passing them. So I have corner x minus half handle. Now what is this half handle? Handle size. What is the handle size? It divided by scale. So 8 divided by scale and half. So now the question is, what is this 8 here? What is this 8? Get corner handle. So 8 divided by scale, that's nothing but okay, the rectangle boxes. It just simply signifies the width of that divided by scale, so that the width of it always remains the same. And once that is done, so I just simply add it to the handle size, that will always be the same as for corner x. So we had min x and min y, corner x and corner y minus half handle, that's nothing but the handles. We are subtracting that, that is all right. And handle size is fine as well, just simply equivalent to that, so it sort of makes sense. And this simply returns me the corners, but apart from this particular corner as well, HDDD, just consider it anything. That doesn't really matter. I just wanna see whether they are getting cold or not. Okay. Let me do one thing, let me get it checked by the AI and then we'll see what happens here. So this is the first function, and this is the second one that's actually being used in here. So let's check this thing out. The implementation is mostly correct, but there's one architectural problem. Get has two responsibilities. For rectangles, ellipses, texture, it uses selection bounds. For lines, it ignores the bounds and instead uses the shape geometry. That makes it difficult to support group selection, because a group of lines should use the group's bounding box rather than individual line endpoints. A better implementation is to let the caller decide whether to use line endpoints or a group endpoint. So whenever I'm calling this get so at the time use segment handlers true or false. Update cursor over. What's wrong with this now? What to do if I want to change the cursor type as soon as we hit the group bounds instead of relying on the shape. So ultimately, if we actually want to hit that, so it can be applied for the single shape as well. So if there is a single shape, so whenever we hit that only, then it's gonna be working. Should I always depend on bounds instead of depending on forward shape bounds? Let's see what it's actually gonna say regarding this. Let's do one thing now in that case. If I go to interactions, and especially this particular section, not even this one, whenever we click down, ultimately pointer down selection, this is the one. So over here, whenever we just normally hover, right, so that is gonna be the move section here. So if I just generally hover over it and update hover state, so what I have to check in here, that if I have the bound, so first of all make the shape what I still need to send the shape anyhow. It needs the hovered shape whenever we are hovering, and that's fine. Sending it is not really a problematic thing. The only thing is that where is this coming from? Update hover cursor. So when it comes to updating it, so if the type is selected, this particular section is gonna be running, and as this particular section runs, so I have to update the hover cursor as soon as the point hits that. So it should be optional first of all. Or we can actually send it. For that thing, of course, I'll have to check if there's any shape. So in that particular case, the hovered shape can actually be null or undefined for that sake. And if this can actually be, so at this point, as I move my mouse, I already have the end point. This is gonna be needed when, especially when we are hovering over the time to have a look at this as well, the previous written code. So ultimately when it comes to selection, and especially when we hover over it, so at this point of time we are not really calling this. So when is this getting called? This is actually getting called at the end. So whenever we hover, get a shape at position, so at the end it is mainly called. That's right, even if we are returning from here, this switch statement will be returned, but the remaining code is still gonna run, right? Coming back to this, I can remove it completely from here. I have this switch statement over here, but when this switch statement gets over, so the remaining code is still going to run. So as the remaining code is gonna run, get shape at position, so I try to get the shape at this particular position, right? And I may get it, I may not get it. And if I got that, update hover cursor, otherwise this. But there is a catch here. CLG hovered is null. Even here hovered is null. When I hover over the shape, then I get the value. That simply means somehow I have to trigger this when I just hover over the bounce. So the next thing is that, do I have the bounce on pointer move? There are two situations here, especially if that is equals to select. Interaction. The type is still select, and at this point of time I have three shapes and I have their bounds. So if I have interaction dot bounce, select, okay, and interaction dot group bounce if I have. So if I have the bounds, so at that time this is gonna be undefined. And if I have the hovered shape, then this is gonna be running. And update over cursor, endpoint, and hovered shape, and this is how it's gonna be going on. Wow, it worked. That is what I wanted. Have a look, everybody. We did this, didn't we? So whenever we are hovering over any shape or anywhere, at that time the cursor is moved. If we go out, of course this is normal default cursor. If we hover over the bounce, it actually looks like this. If I go with one shape, it is still the same. But if we just hover over, that's what I wanted actually. Pretty good, not really bad, yeah. I mean, it took a lot of time to just simply figure it out, and thanks to the previous written code, so that like when you start working on one thing, you forget what you wrote earlier. Then thanks to this duplicate copy that I had, then I just tried to mimic the same thing and somehow made it work. Anyway, this is the first thing that actually happened. The second thing is that on pointer move, right? So if the pointer is actually down, so suppose if the pointer is down, we have to move it in reality, and that is happening actually. So if I just simply select this, well, I have to select them like this. Once I've selected them, I can just simply move them here and there, and this works pretty great, except for one thing, and that is as I start moving them, the cursor actually changes again, and that is something that I have to work on, and that could be because of what? The type that I have, that is interaction type select only, then that should be getting called. That is problematic. So if I just have the bounds, that is more than enough, and it should not be equals to none. And I think having, so as soon, okay, that's the issue. As soon as we click down, so it becomes default. Let's check that thing out. Preview shape, interaction dot type, if it's not equals to none, or interaction dot type, if that's not equals to draw, then that is it. That should not be equals to that, and group bounds does not exist on type selection box. Okay, should not be equals to selection box as well. So I think instead of none I can go with the selection box. So none doesn't really make any difference in here, so that can always be selection box instead of making it none. That might work. None means what? Nothing, right? So if you are just simply selecting, or let's just simply add in one more interaction dot type if it's not equals to none. So this gets resolved, but this is not the problem. The thing is that as soon as you click down on pointer down selection, so at that time what do we do? So it is equals to select right now, and if that is actually equals to select, so we update the cursor. Just a sec. Okay, that's good. Let me have a look at this. In this particular section we are not really changing that. Coming back to our main code, the multi that supports multi selection. So first of all, are we even checking this particular thing in here? Let me keep them side by side. What's the difference between them? On pointer down, hit shape. Oh, okay, we are sort of getting that. And if hit shape does not exist, then we are just simply setting everything to null and all. That is also fine. Coming back to this, we are just simply getting the hit shape, we are getting the selected shape, and on the basis of that thing we are changing the value of it. It mainly depends on the type, select type. That is sort of fine. We can continue from here on, and we have interactions just like this one, somewhat like this. So once we have interaction, so if interaction dot type is gonna be equals to select, so whenever we just simply click down, at that time what do we do? If that is actually equals to select, so if is a point in circle, if is a point in selected shape bounds, I should be just simply saying that is point in bounds or something. So at that time we have to just simply return from here. Is that so? When we click somewhere, because of this thing it does not stop it, but I shouldn't do this. If I don't do this, the thing is that if I click anywhere, I lose the selected shapes. So having that if made it possible, but if I just left that, so on point down I don't have to set it to select, as simple as that. This is what is happening here. So if I click shift, setting it to select is not a problem. If there is no hit shape, setting it to selection box is the problem. So if there is no hit shape, so if I just simply comment this, okay, it became selection box. Interesting. So if this is not causing that effect, so what is? This is the problematic thing. Set selected shape IDs becomes null, and then we invalidate it. That is, so it should be null when the pointer up actually happens. And yeah, as expected. Now when, okay, as for this changing, effect will take care of it, but when pointer up happens, only then, if the mouse was select, it actually remains select, right? And that's right. So when the pointer up happens, if it is actually equals to select, at that time it should be selection box. And in this case, if there is no shape, there is no such thing as no shape. Why? Because when we click down, shouldn't happen, because in that case anything related to the size handle and all, nothing works, and we have to check this side handle thing. So if I have the hit shape, only then the logic related to that should be running. So if I have the hit shape, then I got the preview shape. Once I got the preview shape, if I don't have the shape, nothing should be running. Everything is dependent on the hit shape. That's interesting. Alrighty, coming back to this, we don't have to check the bounds if the shapes are actually selected. We have to take care of the bounds. So if there is no hit shape, that is fine. Still we have to run. If there is no hit shape, set selected shape IDs. Is that really true? I clicked somewhere and moved. Preview shape I am getting, bounce I am getting just because of that hit shape, but the thing is that if we are not even hitting that, we are clicking somewhere else the way we are doing in here, and if we just click once, everything's gone. And if we click and move, it stays. That simply means when the type is select, by default the type is definitely gonna be select. So if the type is actually select, and if you click and no hit, what do you have to do in that case? If I clicked and there wasn't any click, so on pointer up, selection box. But if the type is select, I clicked, no hit, but I moved, then on pointer up, still select. This is the overall logic, right? So let's take care of the first one. When I click no hit, on pointer up, selection box. The question is, first of all, let's fix this, forget about the question. Canvas interact, I have to make it selection box. If that is not triple equals to select, if it's something else, it should become select. Interesting. But the thing is that as soon as I click outside, okay, nothing is happening. But if I actually click on a shape, it changes the type. We don't have to change the type when we click down. That's the main thing. So let's close this. Come on, this one. And when I click down, forget about this as well. As soon as I click down, even if using direct click, that doesn't matter. If no resizable handle, what do? We set the type to select. If there is no resizable handle, that is fine. Why are you setting it to select? And as soon as it becomes select, so only that remains selected. If I actually make it select at this point of time, so as soon as I click down, there is no hit shape, nothing's gonna happen because it will not let it run. There is no hit shape, it will return. But if there is a hit shape, this whole logic will run. This will become select, and if that is select, it will become okay. Selection box. If that is select, but as soon as I click on the shape, it just happens. So here we go. Let's try this thing out. Yeah, it does happen even then. Selecting something that matters. Is this the problem? Nope, that's not. What am I missing in that case? On pointer down selection. Let's talk about draw, but that just simply returns whenever we point click, what happens? Type is select. Type is select. If I click only on one, type is still select. Shift. How does it select many? It's not about setting the type, it's about making it null. So this is the problematic thing. So if there is no resize handle, if there is a head share, this one, probably getting closer to the problem, and turns out yes. So that is something we have to fix. First of all, this doesn't need to be here. This is the first thing. Setting this is fine if there is no resize, and also setting it to select, and if there is resize, so setting it to resize. Even I can set it to move. Like, of course, I do have the shape, that is why it is running, right? I don't have any hit shape. At that time we set the selected shape IDs to this. Is this right? No, we don't really need to set on pointer down, that will cause the problem. Setting it to selection box, we can do that, but we don't really need to do it at this point of time. Returning it from here is the best way, ideal solution. Everything should happen on pointer up. So let's talk about pointer up. So whenever, especially let's talk about move as well. So whenever the pointer move happens, so Forward shape. Let's try this thing out. Until unless even nothing's happening. Even when I click out. So if we are actually clicking outside, it should definitely, I should be setting shapes to null. So now I have to check whether I'm actually clicking in that inbound. So probably I need to go backwards. Yes. A little more if I'm not wrong. On pointer down selection. No, not really more. Here we have this. So is point in selection say bounds? This is what I was simply checking earlier. If this is true, then great, no problem. If this is not true, that simply means in else case, set selected shape IDs. Now if I come here, हुआ क्या भाई तुझे? One, two, and probably three. That's interesting. So is point in selected shape bounds? I have to check it. If the point is actually is point in selected shape bounds? Point in selected shape bounds, that simply means point is not in the selected shape bounds, but in here. This is still being called if the type is equals to select and if point is not inside that. The question is that how do we even select if the shape is it? So by default we got the hit shape. As soon as we got the hit shape, why not to just simply set it as well? If I actually have hit shape, in that case do this. What is the problem? Another one. Selected shape, if there is a hit shape, if I'm clicking pointer down. thinking that there are other shapes as well, but if I'm directly clicking, how would I know whether shift is there or not? Interesting. Let's take the help of AI. Hopefully it will be able to resolve this. Okay, can you help me write it better? It should exactly behave like Excalidraw. Yes, this okay. Keep it here. So let's see what we can do better in here. Yes, the main issue with this function is that it mixes the selection changes and no. Much closer to determine what is under the pointer, determine the current selection, decide whether the click changes selection or start interaction, never recalculate the selection midway. I did structure it like this. Get all the information. So first of all, get the hit shape, that we are doing that. So on pointer, what the hell. Yeah, so on pointer down selection, right? So we are getting it first, as simple as that. Then let's get rid of it for now. Not getting rid of it from something is not really a good option. Commenting is better because later we may roll back. Selected shape is gonna be received like this. Then we have selected shape. So far so good. Don't change this logic. So this is also fine. Interaction is gonna be, to get the interaction, I'm gonna be getting this interaction sort of like this. Handle clicks outside an existing selection first. This is exactly what Excalidraw does. So if that is equals to select and point is not inside the bounds, in that case I have to set it to null. Pretty simple. If not, is the point shape bound? So I'm clicking on select, and if that is actually outside, not on any shape, is point in selected shape bounds here. So at that time, what do we have to do? Set selected shape IDs to empty, because we actually clicked outside the selected shape bound. So that is why. Notice there's no return. Excalidraw doesn't stop processing here. If you clicked another shape, it immediately selects that shape. Handle shift selection. If shift key is there, then do something or the other. Empty canvas. If there is no shape as such, first of all, this particular section is gonna be running. As this particular section runs, it will become empty. And as I'm already clicking outside, because if I actually clicked inside, it would never run. And as this never runs, I will move this hit shape, shift key and all. And if there is no shift, then hit shape. If there is no shape that hit, in that case we'll see what to do. Clicked. This is where Excalidraw is much cleaner. First determine whether it's already selected. Is already selected includes the hit shape dot already, then I'm gonna be commenting this here for now. So if not already selected, we'll select this if there is no hit, of course. Const is already includes is hit shape.id. This seems to be fine. It will check whether that's already selected or not, because the shape does exist. If the shape actually exists, so if not is already selected, if there is not already selected, then of course we are gonna be selecting that. If we click on a shape and the shape is not already selected, then we are gonna be selecting that. And pointer reps dot interaction rep dot current type is actually gonna be equals to select preview shapes. That's our structured clone of hit shape. Group bounds get bounding box of the hit shape. So once we have done this much, invalidate. The shape wasn't already selected. If it were, then it would never really be running, just like this. Fine as well, no resizing yet. If already selected, in that case we have to get the bounds, and that bound is gonna be equals to hit shape. Once we have the hit shape in here, resizable handle, hit this, then if no handle, in that case of course we have to make it select preview shape. So structured hit shape, structured hit shape. Otherwise this particular part is gonna run structured clone hit shape. I'd also split into helper functions. Okay, forget about the helper functions right now. How does it work? I mean, with one shape we don't really have any problem, right? When it comes to moving them both, that's great. But when I start moving, okay, that's great. The first way is sort of fine. Let's talk about this move selection. Hopefully it will be able to correct this as well. Okay, let's go through it so that we can figure out things as well later. So the main issue is that you are using the current interaction to determine hover state. Current interaction to determine hover state. Excalidraw doesn't do that. Instead, it follows this logic. If the pointer is down, continue the active interaction, move, resize, selection box, etc. If the pointer is not down, determine the hover cursor based on current selection bounds. If there is a selection, otherwise the hover shape, and otherwise the default cursor. There are a couple of problems in your implementation. Interaction.type is select shouldn't control. Suppose you have one shape selected. Now move the mouse far away. Your code still executes. Okay, that's fine. So update hover selection and point. Instead, you should only use the selection bounds if the pointer is actually hovering over them. In that case, the value of this group bounds. Don't use interaction to determine whether a section exists. Interaction represents the current interaction or the editor. Okay, so const selected shapes are gonna be just like this. Group bounds are gonna be just like this. Just a sec. Where are the selection shapes? Selection can exist even after move has finished. Const selected shape shapes dot filter shape selected shape id dot includes shape dot id. This way I'm gonna be getting the selected shapes, and const group bounds, that's gonna be get group bounds of selected shape. We can calculate the group bounds. That's interesting. So we don't really need to get it from there. The selection can exist even after a move has finished. The selection can exist even after a move has finished. That is right. However, logic should only happen when the pointer isn't down. So you are already checking pointer refs dot current ref for dragging. After that, pointer is pointer ref down. If pointer if dot is pointer down dot current, that is sort of true, that simply means the pointer is down. In that case, I have to return. Okay, no hover updates while dragging. I will structure it like this. So I'm gonna have interaction at the top. That is what I have here. After that, start. If I don't have a start, I'm gonna be returning from here, and that start actually comes from where? Just to select the logic, move the logic, resize the logic, and once all this thing is done, if pointer refs dot is pointer down dot current, in that case simply return from here. That simply means if that is down for some reason, return it. Over logic, we have selected shape. Group bounds we have. If there are group bounds, and the point is in a rectangle, right? is point in shape bounds, end point, and group bounds. In that case, do this. Hovered shape. This is mainly for the bounds, so this should be fine. And once this is done, return from here. Then when it comes to hovered shape, so this was all about first of all we are checking for what? We are checking for the selection, the bounds. Then we are checking for the hovered shape. If there is any hovered shape, in that case check for the hovered shape, otherwise do this. Starting above this part is good, is dragging. Time to give this thing to complete it. Okay, let's see if it actually does it. Does it make it work or not? Let's check this thing out. So let's see exactly what's happening in here. So at the end of the day, there is this start. If there is no start, then this. If the type is actually already selected, we will check whether the pointer is down or not, and preview shape is greater than 0. That's fine, and is dragging. Then we are gonna be doing what? Sort of going to add the offset, and once that is done, then gonna be just simply setting the move, because of course after that we are supposed to be moving for sure, because we actually clicked on selected shape. That's right. Okay, so this particular thing is done. Then as we start moving, so this and this, and if selection box join on, let's break from here. Don't update hover while dragging. So when we are dragging and pointer is down, don't actually do anything, the hover should remain the same. Selected shape dot filter, selected shape ID is included, so we are going to be getting this. We have the bouncing here. Once we have both, we are going to be checking with the wherever we are is this now? This is mainly for the update hover. So wherever I clicked and then I started moving, so if the pointer is actually down, come on here, this update hover gets used when the pointer is actually up. So if the pointer is up, and yeah, that's fine. In that case, that's fine, completely fine, especially when the cursor over current selection, especially when that is not done. Cursor over a shape, then this particular thing happens, default cursor, and that is it. What do you say? Should we try it? Overall it seems to be right to me. So first of all, one shape is definitely gonna be working, no problem as such. Okay, this is sort of fine, isn't this? The another thing is that we are not actually able to resize that. That's what we have to focus next, and that is it. It's been crazy. Even this is not done yet. Don't consider it done, because we have to change the color of these. So as soon as they are selected, so their color needs to change. So suppose they are selected right now, so their color has changed, so they have sort of some bounding box around them, and so even that is something we have to work on. So we'll do that for sure. As for right now, how when I click, so that it becomes right, this resizing, let me see. aren't we setting it as resizing or something? Especially when we click down, this is never running. Forget about this CLG, let's check out the resize handle. Are we even getting some resize handle or not? So this is the resize handle overall. Turns out it is not. Resize handle is actually not getting called. First of all, console.log sizing, that is fine, let it be here. Okay, let's check this thing out now. This resize handle, it's actually being decided based on what? Based on its shape. That's right, so we have to fix this thing. Resize handle, so the resize handle that we are actually getting, get resize handle at that particular point, we have the bounce. Let me ask it to fix this as well, if it can, otherwise we'll have to definitely fix this and make sure that when the shape is selected and we click on resize handles, then we get let's see. Sometimes it gets really tricky, like exactly what should the logic be actually like. So it's better, what I think, that instead of getting your mind spoiled in that particular stuff, better take the help of AI, and once done, understand that well. If you are able to understand that, that's more than enough. And next time onwards, if you actually understand well, then of course you can Alright, let's continue. That's I think more than enough. And let's see what result we are gonna be getting. The issues that you are checking is already, but you are clearing the section. Okay, that's fine. Whatever we are doing, I just would like to have a look at the result that it actually gives me, and then first of all, let's do one thing. Let's just simply replace the current one with the one that we got and try to see how it works. On pointer down, we are getting selected this is also fine, selected shape here, interaction clicked inside the selection, that should be select and this should be list. After that hit and includes a selected shape filter, that's fine. And we are setting that preview shape. So whatever the next selected shapes we had, we are just simply making them a preview shape. So ultimately with the help of the IDs we are actually getting the shape. So filter, we are just simply filtering all the shapes, then we are mapping. Okay, that's fine, we are getting all the shapes. Group bounce, we got the bounce as well, all those shapes, as simple as that. After that it's being set to select. So whenever we click using shift, that becomes select and invalidate empty canvas. If not hit selected shape, if there is no hit shape, in that case I'm making it empty. Shift was already covered here, and in the remaining case if you click and there is no canvas, so there is no hit shape, so it should be empty. But there is a problem. The problem is that what if I already clicked inside the bounds, then won't it be problematic? So this is something we still have to think about. And if there is no hit shape, then, and if there is already hit shape, that's okay. I think this is not what I want. Making it empty is not gonna give me the result that I want. Yep. Yeah. If you set IDs to empty when there's no selected or hit shape, then I won't be able to move. Exactly, that's the one subtleties of Excalidraw behaviors. So then you lose the current. Then क्या कर? Is there any way? I recommend this selected, moved, selected both, and trying to move. Sort of not able to move for some reason. Why? Hey, I mean, now why are we not able to move it? It turns out that we need to get what we want. We cannot copy paste the code directly, rather we'll actually have to understand what works when, and as per that we have to write the logic. We can get the inspiration from ChatGPT, but if we actually think that the code, whatever it is giving us, that will work the way we want it to work, there's no possibility of that. So it's better to just simply have a look at the generated code and just get the inspiration from there, and then try writing it. That would be a better thing, because if I directly copy paste, nothing's gonna happen, right? With this particular thing, just a sec, how long has it been? It's already been 1 hour and 26 minutes. I'll be back after half an hour or something. I'm just gonna take a break for a while. After that I'll be back, and then not even half an hour, just a break of 10 minutes or something. After that we'll continue from here on. We'll see what we need and what we don't, because